You're on a long hike. You're miles away from any vehicle, and every step you take is painful. You feel the pain in the bottom of your foot, by the heel, or in the arch. You may have first noticed it when you got up and took those first few steps. It may have gotten better the more you moved around, but it just doesn't go away. It might be plantar fasciitis, or you could have stepped on something, so check your foot for any hitchhikers. If you're out on the trail and you have a lot of miles left to go, this issue can become really annoying real quick. Fortunately, there are things that you can do to help reduce that pain that will help you finish that trek using gear that hikers commonly bring, including items over the counter, stretches, taping, and massage. Your options for over-the-counter pain relievers include NSAIDs like ibuprofen. This includes Advil or Motrin, naproxen, Aleve, or aspirin, like the stuff that your granddad is taking every day. And there's also Tylenol or acetaminophen, which is not an NSAID. As plantar fasciitis is not an inflammatory condition, the choice is up to you, but NSAIDs tend to work better for pain. I'm not going to recommend you take either of those. So I don't want to hear anybody tell me that their rectum is bleeding because they took too much Advil. And yes, that is a potential side effect. With these stretches, let's start at the bottom with the foot and work our way up. Now, plantar fasciitis is a condition characterized by repetitive micro trauma to those fibrous bands. Let's not add insult to injury by overstretching. First thing you can do is grab those toes and pull back, but really the focus is going to be on that big toe. Okay? Then you can grab a towel. You can do it with a straight leg or a bent knee, but this way you get a calf stretch on top of that plantar fascia being stretched out too. A progression to that stretch would be standing up, leaning against an object like this dead tree. Jam those toes in there and drive your knee forward. It should be a really nice big stretch. If you feel like it's tearing or ripping, back off, okay? So you do it with a bent knee, then you can do it with a straight leg. Just make sure you don't fall down. For the next stretch, gastroc stretch, a calf stretch with a straight leg. So you're gonna kick that leg back, leaning up against a tree. Make sure that foot is not rotated out, right? So you don't want to be out there. You want to have it maybe pointing forwards or inwards. Right, so keep that heel on the ground, lean forward until you feel a stretch. One thing you can add to this is an isometric hold, a contraction without movement. So you want to hold that for 10 seconds and then sink into that stretch again. And then do the opposite. Try to lift your toes towards your shin, hold that for 10 seconds. Release it, stretch again. So those are some simple stretches that you can do to help relieve some of the pain that you have associated with plantar fasciitis. If there's other ones that you like, feel free to do those. And if they're working, do them multiple times a day. As far as how long to hold each stretch, 10-second hold, 30-second hold, a minute hold, whatever gives you the pain relief that you're looking for, go with that one. But try to accumulate at least 1 to 2 minutes worth of stretching. So the next thing I want to talk about is Leukotape. This can often be found in a hiker's or runner's kit bag for managing blisters. This can be a great way to offload some of that stress off of that grumpy plantar fascia. I'm going to show you guys how to do it 2 ways. The first way, the economy option, just uses 2 strips of tape. Then the other way uses more tape, but it provides more support. This tape is great because it sticks very well. It stays on even when it's wet. And for the purpose of the plantar fascia and trying to take some of that stress off, it works very well because it's fairly rigid. Before you put any tape on, make sure that your foot is clean so you can give that adhesive a chance to stick better. I got a towel here, it's wet. Clean off your foot. All right, so the tape will be over the arch. There's 2 strips of tape over the arch. start a little bit higher up, more on top of the foot, and then work your way in, maintaining tension on the tape. And then finish at the top of the foot. Now having the tape on top will prevent your foot rubbing in the shoe, peeling that tape off. When you're putting on the second strip, have at least 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch of overlap between the two strips of tape, and follow the same pattern. And voila, that's all you need. Now for the second option, it involves a horseshoe-shaped piece of tape around the rim of your foot. Start at that first MTP joint. You can see where that joint is whenever you lift up your toes. So start at that joint. Don't go too far up closer to your toes, because then it's going to create a friction point between your toe. Wrap it around. Make sure there's no wrinkles in the tape. Smooth it over. And so once you've got this horseshoe piece of tape on, follow the same pattern as the first option, going from the outside, working your way in. And you can do it all, going all the way down to your heel. I don't think it's necessary, but this will give you more support. It'll hold for longer. And if you have enough tape, you can certainly go with this route. So now let's talk about massage. And it can easily be done using your own hands. And so you're using your thumb, working from the heel, trying to look for those tender areas and trying to working them out. You could use a ball. This is a cork massage ball, 2.5 inch diameter. Maybe too big for this particular purpose, but if you have other tender spots, it can be a little more effective with a bigger ball. You could use a stick, which Lana was already chewing on, but that's okay. Same principle, roll that foot. So you can just about use anything you want that can, dig into that plantar fascia. And so if you have a water bottle, which I'm assuming you do because you're hiking, you can roll your foot in much the same way as I did with the ball or that stick. So I did not include any strengthening exercises in this because in this scenario where you're putting in a lot of miles over an extended period of time, it just doesn't make much sense to add more load to an already overloaded piece of tissue. If you're doing something serious, like a through hike, it's going to take you months to complete. If the pain's not bad, or at the very least it's not getting worse, the stretches, the massage, the taping are helping, I would say just keep soldiering on. Keep going forward. If it's really holding you back, I think there's only really one option, and that is adding rest days or 0 days where you're not hiking at all and allowing that tissue to rest. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. Thanks for watching.